Good afternoon on July 10th. This is the afternoon just after Hurricane Beryl had went through and left us not only with 2.5 to 6 inches of rain, depending on where you are, but also this morning, 7 to 9 o'clock, left us some pretty substantial wind damage. So I wanted to cover wind damage in corn. We get a fair amount of experience with wind damage like this. And just for those of you that want the quick cliff notes, it happens to write itself almost every time and makes you really forget about it pretty quick. So, like the picture here, this was probably about shoulder high corn. The corn that's about shoulder high probably got hit more than harder than the rest of it, or shows more wind damage, where we had above ground growth really taking off in that rapid growth phase. And you might not have had as well as developed root system as they try to keep up with the above ground. Then you couple that with the wet soil that really lets the corn lean. It really makes things look a lot worse than they are. So a field that's really looks like that's been hit hard and really laid over fairly substantially at shoulder high will undoubtedly recover and stand up almost perfectly. A lot of cases you won't even see a little sled runner at the bottom and it'll stand up pretty good. So as you get closer to tassel, it won't stand up as well, but in my travels this morning, looking and this afternoon looking around, it doesn't look like the tasseled corn had near as much leaning in it. Maybe a little bit above the ear, leaning to the south because the wind came out of the north, but didn't really see the extent of damage in the older corn as I did the younger corn. Did see a little bit of green snap in that though. So a couple of things looking at corn. The plant on the left that is strictly just leaning. There really isn't any root lodging with it. This corn will recover and stand back up perfectly, and you will not even know that happened. The plant on the right is actually root lodged. So if you can zoom in, you'll see that the roots actually are pulled up out of the ground a little bit. So this one will also recover almost straight, but it will probably have a little kink, a foot, 6 inches to maybe a foot off the ground where you'll see that root lodging had occurred, but will also upright itself and and be back up to normal probably within 3 days. So this happens pretty quick. Probably the thing that took it the hardest was the sweet corn that was tasseled. When you get to tassel, of course, remember a corn plant isn't growing, so it's not going to upright itself near what a growing corn plant is going to do. So all in all, the wind was looks pretty bad today, but in 3 days from now, almost all the corn will look so good that you'll forget it even happened.